Hi guys, welcome to season 2 of our podcast, Ladies Who Lift.
You can now stream on all platforms including Spotify, Apple Podcasts and even YouTube for our visual listeners.
Welcome back to episode 3 of Ladies Who Lift.
We're on episode 3 already.
I know, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's so hot today.
Yeah, it is. And I've decided to wear a big, thick cardigan. And it's quite warm in here. But
Yeah.
I really just like it. So I'm going to keep it on.
You're going to get hot halfway through and take it off.
Probably, but...
It's a lovely cardigan though. Where did you get that from?
Funny story, actually. I asked my mum if she would knit it for me for my 18th. She didn't knit it for me.
Yeah,
but
I sent F that.
I sent her this photo of this. I don't know where it was from. I'm not gatekeeping. I just genuinely don't know where it was from. Like a smaller business, I think. And I saw a photo of it somewhere, and I was like, my mum can do that. She's a talented woman. Send it to her. It's my 18th. You know, it's a special one. Can you knit me this? She just bought it for me. She said, absolutely not. And because she said no so quick, I completely forgot about it. So it was a really good gift because I wasn't expecting to receive it.
You've got your wear out of it as well.
Yeah, I have. I
In the
absolutely love
winter, especially, I don't know why it's out today, but in the winter, you wear it like pretty much all the time, don't you?
It's a great camping thing. Because you know when you look, like when you're camping, you look dishevelled all the time.
Yeah.
But you put this on, and although you are dishevelled, you
don't
look a little
feel
bit more put
dishevelled.
together. Yeah, and it's really warm and cosy. It's
Do you
like
remember
wearing
that
a blanket.
time when we went to Mam Tor? And we
To
camped,
watch the sunrise.
and we
that
watched the
didn't
sunrise,
exist.
and we went. We got up at like 4, and we like climbed up a mountain, got to the top of the mountain, and it was literally cloud.
But it was supposed to be nice weather. It was.
Yeah.
We weren't just being overly optimistic, were we? Maybe we
It
were.
did say sun and cloud, but there was just no cloud. There was just absolutely no sun.
No,
but
there was no sunrise.
by the time, do you remember? Because we stopped off at that beer garden on the way back, and we had a bev.
Yeah, that was so
We
nice.
ate some Korean chicken as well. That was so good.
Delicious. But one of the best like fried chicken things I've ever had.
We're gonna have to go back there.
We are. We're going to have to go back and actually catch the sunrise. Because
Yeah.
honestly, guys, we camped, got up at 4 a.m, walked all the way up this mountain to go and watch the sunrise. Nothing. And the thing is, there was about 20 other people up there doing the same thing as us at 4 a.m. in the morning. Nobody said a word about the fact that we were all sat watching the clouds. Like, no one said anything. And I think as I left, I was like, oh, great sunrise.
Yeah.
Just to see.
Yeah,
like,
just to see if...
Everyone was just pretending like
Like-
we've all just come for a walk at 4 a.m. for no reason whatsoever.
And there was literally like people with picnics, and we were like,
everyone
I'm
was
so
ready for it,
tired.
weren't they?
The fact that we stayed there as well until the sun came up, and
And we were like, it's actually full daylight now.
yeah,
and
it was. We were like, we're checking on
maybe
weather,
it'll
and it was
come,
like,
maybe it'll come.
it said that it's fully up, and it was like, where? We can't see it.
Yeah, no.
That was a tangent. We're talking about gym and mental health today.
We are.
I think we've done this previously. I think we've actually spoken a little bit about it on a different episode, but I want to
In
like
season 1.
yeah, I want to
Yeah.
like make a whole episode about it because obviously there's so much to talk about. There is literally so much to talk about.
Yeah, and I think we're big. I'd like to do a bit more than we do maybe, but we're big advocates for like how exercising is just, if not more important for your head as it is for your body. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so important for your mind, and I feel like you won't understand until you've been there and done that, and then realised how much it can positively affect your mindset.
yeah.
And I'm so glad that we found it when we did, because we actually started going to the gym because we just needed a bit of an outlet, I think, didn't we? Because we were doing
Yeah.
A-levels, and it was kind of like a stressful time.
Yeah, we mentioned it in the last episode,
Yeah.
didn't we? But I think, yeah, we just needed like something to go and... It's a de-stressor, and it's just good when you're not moving your body anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously in life you're going to be faced with challenges, and it's lovely to be able to be like, do you know what? Can't deal with it today. I'm just going to go to the gym. It's just like quite comforting to have that little bit of like that space that's your own,
Yeah.
that you can kind of go and just be yourself. And like, especially now I've got a spa membership. I can go meditate
At her
in the
David
spa.
Lloyd's gym, because she is that bougie now.
But we're going to open today's episode with a question box
Okay.
that I asked Instagram. And it was, what are your biggest gym struggles / challenges?
Okay, go for it.
So we'll comment on these if anyone's asked like a question. We'll put our 2 pence in, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have some kind of thing to say about it, won't we?
Someone said, I can't push myself to make my workouts longer.
Oh, interesting.
How
I'd
would
like
you
to
combat
ask her how long her workouts are now. because I would say, firstly, it's not about the length of your workouts in a lot of ways, because it depends what you're training. And secondly, your workout to be effective doesn't need to be 2 hours long.
No.
Or even in some cases an hour long. Like, I think it depends what you're doing. I think if you're trying to do a like bodybuilding, say you're trying to grow your glutes, an hour is like optimal. You don't need to do longer than an hour, I wouldn't say. And it's like 5-6 exercises. Would you agree with me there? It's
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Because
great
any
amount.
more you could be, I mean, it's quality over quantity, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we always say.
And I would say over time it takes to do your workout. Above that needs to be your form, how much you're pushing yourself in the actual reps and sets, what your volume is. Like there's so many things before you think about how long it's taking you that you should focus on and worry about.
You could be working at about 20 to 30% of what your RPE
For an hour.
for like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
Or you could be working to 80% and doing it for 45 minutes.
Yeah. And you come out more productive even though
Yeah.
it took shorter. So
And of course it depends on your gym goals as well. Like
yeah, definitely.
if you wanted to just, if you are going for your mental health, for example, don't put any pressure on yourself to just do what feels comfortable, do what feels right.
Yeah, and I think going in there and adding another worry, like especially if you're new to the gym and you're not 100% sure about how long a session should be taking you, thinking about your time it takes is just another worry that you don't need. Like focus on getting yourself there, making sure your form's right. I'd say that's like top of priority list.
Absolutely, especially as a beginner.
Yeah, and then once you're comfortable with those things, you can get into the gym, you've got your form right, you know exactly what you're doing, you've got a program that you can follow. Then maybe think about how long it's taking you, much you're pushing yourself for in that period of time. But like I said, it depends what you're doing. Because like for me, if I'm doing a running workout, some of my runs, I might go and do sprints, which takes me 20 minutes. Or I might go and do a 10K, which takes me best part of an hour. So you can't...
And that depends on your mindset as well, right?
100%.
Because obviously you have a training program to stick to, especially when you're training for your marathon. But... there are some days...
She mentioned it that time. She mentioned it, not me.
I know. I can't believe it. I wish you didn't pull me up on that. I really didn't want... I'm just moving on quickly before I lose my train of thought. But you'll find days where you'll come to mind and you'll be like, oh, I didn't do that 10K today because I just wasn't feeling up to it. So I did 5K and I enjoyed it more. Yeah. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I went on like a massive tangent on our story, didn't I, a few weeks ago. And I... literally had this whole thing about how I needed to, I'm trying to follow a program, I've got a bit out of routine at the moment because we obviously went away and it's just hard sometimes, isn't it? But I was putting all this pressure on myself to do like a really long run and I was like, I need to do at least like an 8K today, and that was at least, so I need to be running for about an hour at least. And I ended up almost not doing anything and then I was like, right, I'm just going to go and do 5. I know I can do a 5K, it doesn't matter how long it takes me. And then I ended up getting like almost a PB on the 5K and I was that's a 25-minute workout and that was still more productive than going and doing nothing.
And you don't want to put that pressure on you because it's going to be taken away from the enjoyment. You only started running because you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You enjoyed the feeling after it. If you start putting pressure on how long your workouts are and how long, obviously you're working towards goals, I get that, but if you are doing it for your mental health, obviously just don't put too much pressure on it because you don't want to end up not enjoying something that you used to use as a tool of.
And adding to that as well, I find that if I'm trying to say like I need to make this workout last an hour and 15 minutes, but I don't really want to be in the gym that day, like say I'm during my period or something and I'm having a bit of a day, it's much better to go in and give it your best shot at whatever you can, and then say you get half an hour and you've done 3 exercises and you've given it your all, but you have nothing left. And sometimes I get tears in my eyes because I don't want to do it that much. Why are you carrying on and staying in that gym for an hour? My hair's just falling out. Why are you staying in that gym for an hour when you don't need to? Like, you've still done something much better than nothing. And then let's go home and feel better about the fact that we've
at least done something, even if it's 10-20 minutes.
Yeah, literally.
Anxiety that I'm not making progress plus achieving results I want to see.
Should I go for it again?
Yeah, I guess it's very similar to what we just said, but results take time, I'm guessing you'd probably say.
Yeah, I'd say, do you track your progress? For starters, like obviously that's a bit of a PT thing coming in, but I think whether or not you're taking it, like if you're purely just doing it because you want to move your body and you've got no goals, that's maybe a little bit demotivating. So maybe actually even in that sense it might help you anyway, but you don't have to take photos or video your form to make sure that you're specifically losing or gaining weight. It could just be to keep yourself accountable. Like if you know, last week I took 3 videos of me doing Bulgarian split squats or different exercises, then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I did so well.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a motivating thing more than anything. And you might find that you don't know you're making progress because you're not looking at videos or pictures.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to do that.
Yeah, you're also your own biggest critic.
Critic.
I'd say critic.
Yeah.
You're your own biggest critic. So obviously it's good to like kind of rely on other people's comments and how they see you, and also how your clothes are fitting. Like if you wanted to put on weight, see how your clothes fit. I like kind of measuring my progress through that rather than putting the pressure of like weighing myself all the time, because obviously that can be good for some people but not necessarily good for other people. So like just kind of, I don't know, I think it's important to realise that results will take time and progress isn't linear either. It will go up and down all the time.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to get to.
Like things happen in life. You might be going on holiday or you've had a bit of an inconvenience. Whatever it is, it's never going to be just a straight line. But that's the kind of beauty of it, that you just got to get back on the horse and...
Yeah, and stop putting too much pressure on yourself. I think, you know, some people will come in and they're like, I'm getting married in 6 months, and by 6 months I want to look the best I've ever looked. And I kind of understand that. Like, then you're coming in with a specific, like, I need to lose this amount by this time. And in that sense, yeah, like, you want to really push yourself for that period and you want to get there. But if you've not got a date like that and it's more just that you want to be healthier, you want to be fitter, you want to enjoy it, then why are you, like, worrying so much if you're 2 weeks in and you've not got a bigger bum? Like,
and it will take the enjoyment out of it.
It does. It does take time. I know that, like, you probably heard that from every PT under the sun, but... It does. You can't, you know, how long have we been training in the gym for? 4 years?
Yeah, well, yeah, about 5 now.
Yeah, and I'm only just at the point where I'm like kind of happy with where I'm at, and I'm just like,
but you still have days. Like you said
about...
to me the other day, oh, I feel flat.
Yeah, exactly. And there's you're never gonna, I don't think you're ever gonna be 100% happy with yourself.
I completely
and as
agree
humans,
with you.
like, there's always the next thing. There's always like, oh, but
prettier
why
body,
can she run?
yeah.
I'm running a marathon, but why can they run an ultra marathon? Like, there's always that. And I just
Exactly.
think, like, stop. Like, just stop. if you're feeling that way, then you need to first work on where that's coming from and why you're so stressed about making progress. But also it could be a program, so then that's another thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're really stuck and you're at a plateau and you're trying to reach a specific goal and you're not getting there, it's most likely that either your eating's not quite right or your training's not quite right. And really that's, like, I know this is a bit cop-out, but that's when you need to probably talk to, like, a PT or someone, a nutritionist.
And just, and
see what you're doing wrong.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously progressive overload is a huge thing. If you feel like you're not making progress, like, I would just say to just keep pushing harder in the gym, because obviously that's when you can plateau. And we've had it before where we're like kind of just doing the same weights just because can't be bothered. Do you know what I mean? And you've just got to be like, when you're complaining then about not seeing progress, and then you realise that you've been doing, I don't know, 15 kg each side for Bulgarians rather than probably pushing to 17 or something like that. You've just kind of got to be like, okay, come on, Emily, now. Like, you know you can do more. You're just not doing it because you can't be bothered.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll read out a couple more and then we'll get straight into today's episode. Gym isn't the challenging thing for me. My diet is I eat too little, which could obviously be the case with fat loss as well. But obviously this is assuming gaining weight and gaining muscle.
Yeah, I think that's a really, like, people are always talking about how we diet, how we be in a calorie deficit, how we eat less, but actually eating more can be so difficult as well, can't it? And I think the mental struggle that comes with that as well, I think if you're trying to put on weight and you know that you need to put on weight, but it's hard, isn't it? Because you don't just put on weight in all the right places. So then you kind of go back on yourself and then you come back. And also when you feel full, how do you force yourself to eat?
Yeah.
Some people just have really small appetite, don't they?
100%.
It's really difficult to make themselves.
I would say with that, I actually came up with a hack that I've put in the broadcast channel this morning. It was about, like, if you find big meals, especially breakfast, because that's one thing that I never ate when I was trying to build muscle mass. I'd never ate breakfast, and that's obviously, like, you're losing out on 400 to 500 calories if you're bulking, obviously, because you're going to have a lot more.
Yeah.
And when I was trying to gain weight, I would, rather than eating, I would blend it all into a smoothie. I'm not talking like obviously omelette and flipping like that. I'm not blending
you can't do that.
But things like smoothie bowls and just smoothies in general, milkshakes will be your best friend. Like in the morning, I still do it now, protein powder, frozen strawberries, handful of frozen strawberries, a bit of Greek yogurt, bit of peanut butter, a bit of oats, so slow releasing carbs, and then a bit of milk, and that will keep you full, but it won't be like, oh, I really don't want to eat that, I really can't finish that, because that's a lot of food, isn't it? Like if you have it all in front of you and you've got to go mouthful by mouthful, rather than you can just kind of be sipping away while you're on your phone and you don't even think you're eating. So it's things like little tricks like that you can kind of...
Another thing that I learned as well is that, I don't know how to say this in a really scientific way because I'm not a nutritionist, but when you eat, so until your body actually absorbs the food and starts using the food, it sits in your stomach, and whatever you've eaten, your body will think you're full based on the mass in your stomach. So it's not about how dense it is in calories. It's like, that's why they say if you're trying to lose weight, if you fill your plate up with vegetables, when you first eat it, you'll think you're full. Although you might feel hungrier quicker, initially you think you're full. So if you're filling your plate up with things like really low calorie stuff that's big, you'll feel really full, but then you're not going to reach your calorie goal very easily. Whereas if you fill your plate up with complex carbs, things that are going to be high in calories, not bad for you, like not processed, not saturated fats, but things that, like you say, protein, complex carbs, then you'll eat it and then you'll feel full, obviously, but you'll have been able to get more calories in you in that amount of time. That's a really good point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah, that's another
That's a really good point.
Maybe.
I wouldn't even have thought of bringing that up.
But saying that, obviously still make sure that you're eating your vegetables.
Eat your veg.
Eat your veg.
Another one here is about what I eat. I'll comment on this one because I feel like this is the same for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm a beginner and obese. Please help me to cut down belly fat and back fat. So I feel like this is why I want to comment on it, that specifically, because it is very, very hard when you have started wanting to lose weight as a beginner in the gym, because I think before you even get to the gym, you want to look at your diet and also little things that you can do, because if you are a beginner, you don't want to put unrealistic expectations on yourself, because that will just probably overwhelm you and you'll probably be put off the idea as soon as you get into the gym. So you kind of want to, this journey begins before you decide to get the membership. So there's little things that you can do that are not so overwhelming. Like you can just increase the amount of times you walk, like increase your steps, maybe not to 10k, if you're doing it 6k a day at the minute.
Yeah, it could still just be more than you're doing before.
Like add 2k steps on. You don't have to do 10, just more than what you're doing.
Yeah.
But the most important thing that you want it realistic so that you can become consistent with it, because you're only ever going to see results if you're consistent. It's all good and well eating a salad every single day and doing 12k steps, but you can't keep that up and you never will be able to.
No, so then you'll get to a point where you end up back at square one.
Yeah, probably maybe even worse, because it kind of like on your mental health, like that's not good to be one day you're doing really well and then like another day you're binge eating. Like it's
100%.
It's not good. So there are little things that you can do before you even step foot into the gym, and that's where I'd say start out with, and that's tiny little calorie deficit. Maybe start up in your steps and just cut out your processed, well, as much as you can, cut out processed foods and start eating whole foods and more protein, and obviously fill your plate with veg as well. I don't know whether you have anything to add.
Yeah, like just literally, I agree with everything you're saying, but keeping it like not overwhelming yourself. So basically what you were saying, but like you don't want to end up kind of setting yourself all these goals straight away and saying, I need to get to the gym, I need to be in a calorie deficit, I need to be doing all this cardio every single day, I need to be getting all my steps in, and if I miss a day then I'm going to punish myself. If you do all of that at once, then like
It's
oh
not
my gosh,
healthy.
I couldn't do that.
It's really not
No
healthy.
way
It's not
could I
healthy
do
on your
that.
body or your mind, especially if you're going from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, definitely.
And you want to find, I think that's the most important thing, is finding something that you can become consistent with.
Yeah.
Because consistency will breed results.
Yeah, and you might find that like you are doing kind of all the right things, but you're not doing them majorly dramatically, and it will take you 3 months before you start to see the first bit of weight loss.
Yeah.
But you're going to be able to sustain that. You're going to be able to keep doing it in day-to-day life. You're going to be able to, you know, for the whole year, keep that up without feeling really burnt out and drained.
Yeah.
Rather than seeing results in 2 weeks and then in 3 months' time being completely back to where you were anyway.
And this is exactly what I tell my clients that have goals in the gym, that come in and say, oh, I want to lose this much by this time. And it's like I've had this client for like 3 years. She's amazing. You know who she is.
Yeah, I do.
And she's lost like 13 kg now, but we have lost it so slowly. And it's just it's been about like building her up, building her confidence. She's a complete different person to when she first stepped in the gym a couple years ago. And now she really is grateful for the fact that we did it so slow, because she's got a lifestyle now where she can keep up and she's happy with, and she's not restricting herself, but she's learnt it like within a long period of time. And I think it's so important to just not go like straight in and just overwhelm yourself.
Definitely.
But I think that's the last one that we've got to talk about today.
Okay.
I just wanted to comment on that one,
No,
because otherwise we're never going to get time to actually speak about what we were going to speak about today.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I agree with everything you said, and we moving on quite like smoothly. Swiftly and smoothly to the mental health side of things, which is what we want to talk about today. I feel like that all links, because putting more pressure on yourself than you need to is what can cause you more stress. And the whole point of the gym and fitness is that it's supposed to help de-stress you. So why is it causing you stress?
Definitely. Like the gym isn't just all about like how you look. Like we've spoken about it so many times, but we started the gym just purely out of fun for it. Like we just wanted something to do with our spare time, and we realised how positively it impacted our mental health. And you know, when you feel that difference when you're like consistent with the gym, and you feel the difference of like eating well and being in a routine, you never want to stop it. And it becomes addictive, and then you're doing the motivation thing for yourself, really.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really important to try and do it for the right reasons, and not like in the gym there's so many like different types of people, and people who really seem like they've got it all together and they know what they're doing. And I feel like if you instantly, for me, I think when I started, like obviously you were already a bit more into it than I was in terms of the lifting side of things, and I came in and I wanted to like do what everyone around me was doing and weight lift and power lift and be really strong like all you guys, and I didn't have that base. And also I just think genetically it's harder for me to lift as much as you can lift because of the way our bodies are built.
Yeah, everyone's different, aren't they?
So I think I really got myself down, like I'm so bad at this. But I don't think going to the gym and being fit is about whether you're good or bad at it. Is what I was trying to get
Yeah,
to.
no, absolutely. And I feel like if you are in a bit of a dark place at the minute, then finding something that works for you, and it doesn't have to necessarily be the gym. And we were talking about this the other day, that if you are in a bit of a slog and you want to get yourself out there, then even walking, I think, will help you.
Yeah. I think when we were thinking about this episode, like a massive thing we said was like get outdoors.
Yeah, just connect with nature. Like I know that sounds a bit hippie, but
it's true.
It is
so
true, and it's not all about the gym. Movement isn't just the gym. It can be going out and walking. It can be yoga. It comes out in so many different forms, and you've really got to find what works for you. I know obviously the gym works for me and running works for you, and there's so many different ways that you can move your body now. And even just, you know, like you don't have to be in the know to go on a walk.
No.
That takes complete pressure off you.
I think learning that as well in terms of the guilt of like when I'm having a really bad week mentally, like the thought of me going through like a major weightlifting session, for some people that really helps them. Like I found that a little bit overwhelming.
Bit daunting.
And often when I'm having a bad week mentally, then physically I feel a bit rubbish as well, because it's all connected, isn't it? And so I think actually learning to be able to allow yourself a bit of slack when, like, to come off the training program if you need to, or like if I saw what I was doing now when I first started the gym, I'd be like, what goals do you think you're reaching with that? Like, that's not what I thought our goals were, because now I train literally so that I feel better and I'm fitter. Whereas back then it was like, I want to look this way, I need to lose weight here, I need to gain weight here, I need to do this. I'm really upset, I'm really stressed because I'm not being as good as that person. And all these thoughts were going around my head all the time, which ultimately you're going to the gym and then you're coming home and you're just feeling a bit worse about it.
Yeah.
So it's not really helpful.
And you don't want to get to that point.
No.
Like, if you are getting to that point, you probably just need to take a step back and just realise why you were doing it in the first place, and realise the feeling. Because everyone's been there when they first found the love for the gym, because that's why they're into the gym. But then it gets a little bit, if it goes too far and you get too obsessed, which it can easily be done with social media these days.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Like, we've been there, done
and you
that.
sit on TikTok and every single thing you see is like, do this, train this. Why are you not doing this? If you want to reach this goal, do this. If you want to reach that goal, do that.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It is completely overwhelming. And you just got to take a step back and just remember why you did it in the first place. And that was just because of the way that it made you feel.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's nothing wrong with training towards a program, but just make sure that you're checking in on yourself, that you're not getting a bit too what's the word, like, too obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Because being too obsessed with anything is unhealthy, and it can easily be done in the gym, especially with social media these days.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, moving on to a slightly different point as well, is that, like, the friendships and the community that you can build going to the gym can be really nice and helpful for your mental health. Because I think it's not just about, like, although obviously we've mentioned that exercising is really good for your mind, and obviously it releases endorphins and it can just make you feel better. Actually, if you go in and you've got a few people that you know, even if it's like, it doesn't have to just be gym, it could be a run club or just any form of exercise, walking with someone else, like, rather than just sitting in your living room slumped, it just makes you feel better going in. And it doesn't mean that you have to have a really deep conversation with that person, but I think humans interacting with humans can be really helpful sometimes when naturally all you want to do is, like, just be on your own and feel a little bit
naturally, because that's what I do anyway. I just withdraw and want to sit on the sofa, but ultimately that's just going to make you feel worse. And I have a little theory about, like, fast releasing dopamine and slow releasing dopamine.
Talk about this. Is really interesting, actually.
Well, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but when you go on your phone and you, like, scrolling through TikTok, and you know when you find, like, a really funny video and you're, like, creasing at it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's funny, and you feel really good, and then you're onto the next one, and then you're onto the next one, and then you're waiting for that dopamine kick again, and all of a sudden you spent an hour, like, going through your phone,
and then you come off and you don't feel any better.
You've forgotten about the video that you once laughed at, and you feel a bit drained. You've not done anything for your body, and it's like, that's like a fast kick of dopamine, and you'll get it for 6 seconds and then boom, it's gone. Whereas if you go to the gym, it can be a hard slog to get there, but that's 1 hour of working on yourself. You're processing your emotions, you know, you feel good for it after. The gym's proven to release endorphins, so you're coming out and you're feeling so much better. And it's not just that's a slow dopamine kick, because, like, you've done something for yourself, you physically feel better, you mentally feel better,
and it lasts.
Yeah. Whereas TikTok, it's just like, boom, one thing gone.
Yeah. And then you've seen all these funny things, and then you see one thing that's like, get up, why are you watching TikTok? you know that Instagram video that's like, you're scrolling and then you see it and it's like, we're in this day and age, why are you sat here scrolling TikTok? Get up and start a business. And you're like, oh, I feel really guilty now.
Even worse, and then you're just like, right, more dopamine.
I need something else.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy. But it's the same thing with, like, eating. You could easily just go and eat a whole chocolate bar that's, like, quickly releasing, like, good feel happy hormones, or whatever it is. But
it's not high vibrational.
High vibrational foods.
If you're a season 1 listener, then you'll know where this conversation went.
Oh my gosh, no, but it's true. Your mum is on the same wavelength as me now.
She is.
She will go and have a salad, and she'll go, Emily, I'm eating a high vibrational salad.
I think this is a really good example, actually. My mum right now. So my mum's trying to lose a bit of weight, and she has gone on a diet which is like high vibrational foods only. Yeah. And by that we mean foods that you eat and then after you feel good. So it doesn't just taste good when you eat it. It's like actually good for your body.
They're good for your body, like salad, not chicken.
Yeah, like fresh foods, not processed foods. Yeah. All things that are fresh. And then mentally, after you eat it, not only are you full and you're energized for longer because it's not processed, also it's making your vibration higher. And my mum just loved it when you said that before. But it's like this whole theory, isn't it, about how some foods carry a lower vibration because when you eat them, so like a McDonald's,
Yeah.
you eat it and it might taste really good, but then after it doesn't fill you with this energy for the rest of the day. You couldn't
feel
go
sluggish.
straight on a run, or
You feel sluggish.
Yeah.
And then that, I don't know about you, but once I eat off like processed foods, not saying that it's not, obviously you're going to still eat processed foods. Like I still eat processed foods. I go through days where I'll eat crap and I'll eat like Domino's, McDonald's, flipping, but I don't know, I'll eat everything and then I'll feel disgusting.
Yeah.
Not just like physically, but mentally I'll
your
feel
bank account's smaller, you feel disgusting.
But you literally just sit there and think, why did I do that?
Yeah.
But as soon as I eat like a McDonald's, I'm like, right, I've done it now, so I might as well go and eat something else.
You get
But
yourself into a spiral,
it's a bad
don't you?
habit and it's a bad mindset to be in, but it's
Yeah.
But yeah, this isn't us saying that like you should cut out processed foods because it's hard and
I still eat at McDonald's every now and again. I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
you can, like you still can enjoy it.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I'm reading a book at the minute by Chris Van Tolkien.
Oh yeah,
I
what's
think
it
his name
called?
is. Ultra Processed People. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm on the first couple
It
of
says
pages,
at the bottom
but-
like why we eat foods that aren't food.
Yeah.
And why we can't stop doing it. Or
and
something
it
like
talks
that.
a lot. Like I'm only a couple of pages in already, but it's already like had quite a big impact on the way I like view food. And he writes it in a way of like not blaming people for being obese, which is really nice, I think, because it's like it's not their fault that they're obese if they're eating things that have in the supermarkets have health benefits on it, but they're not actually food. Do you know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
The world lies to you all the time.
Yeah, it is crazy. And how are you supposed to eat well if you're trusting things in the supermarket that say that they're good for you and they're not actually even good for you?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But like people don't know that.
No.
There's not enough like education, there's not enough information.
And this is where social media comes into the whole mental health thing and all the gym stuff as well, because you are constantly fed all this information, and how are you supposed to know what's real information and what's not? And actually I don't think it's any better than back when people didn't constantly have all this information at their disposal, because we don't know what information is true or false anyway, so we might as well not have it in a lot of ways. Like there's so much out there that's just such rubbish to see that it just doesn't even make you feel any better a lot of the time. And although there can be some really good resources on social media with the gym, with helping your mental health, it's all mixed up in all this other stuff that is a terrible resource. So then
you've got to use it in a clever way, I think, social media. And that's from
beneficial.
I've only realised that since we've had our account, you know, because you can it's easy to get brainwashed with it as well.
Yeah,
it is very easy to get brainwashed with it, but you've just got to like it is very helpful, because when I started getting into the gym, I learned a lot from social media, but obviously now it's becoming more of like everyone has access to it, and anyone can be anyone on it. Like
it's terrifying.
Fitness coaches that don't have, you know, anyone can be anyone, so misinformation can get spread and things like that. But what I would say, if you're using like social media, just make sure that you're like following people that are actual coaches, or following YouTube channels that are actual coaches and they're certified. That's just a little hack from getting misconstrued and stuff.
Helpful, definitely. I was going to mention as well about like how personally maybe it's helped you, or you found that you've like maybe in your family, or you've come from a place and started going to the gym or started eating better and it's helped you. I know that you've had a lot like with your skin and things that you struggled with that, but that's for you to talk about.
No, I will definitely, because it has definitely had a very big impact on my journey. And like I feel like everyone suffers with mental health, like everyone does. There's a study, I think, that says 1 in 4 now. One in 4 people suffer with it, and even then, like, still people suffer with mental health that aren't diagnosed. But yeah, like I've always had mental health in my family. My dad struggles with it. I struggle with it. My sister struggles with it. So does my mum with some cases. But like obviously, my sister and dad have been diagnosed. But with them, like dad has being able to find a movement that works for him. So he doesn't go to the gym, but he goes to yoga classes, and I've never seen him that works better for him than therapy sessions in the past. Like it's just finding something that will feel good for him. And obviously if he thought a couple of years ago, oh, I know what's going to be better for me, that will make me feel better, yoga, like you're not gonna, but he's just found that and like you've just got to find what works for you. It won't necessarily be the gym, it won't necessarily be running, it will just like you have to try a couple of different things until you realise how it affects you.
Definitely, yeah.
And obviously, yeah, like I struggled with anxiety in the past. I had a bad phobia of sickness, which stressed me out, which we can go into depths about maybe on another podcast. But obviously, yeah, I'd get panic attacks with that, with OCD, and it was just like, it was a nice place to just be able to go into the gym. Just was like a bit of a venting point for me, and it was just, I just can't tell you how much it's got me out of bad places many times. Yeah, and I'm sure you were the same.
Yeah, it's a way of, like, I was thinking a minute ago about how I think running for me more than anything, because you don't, for me, it's the act of like sometimes getting in my car, driving myself to the gym, getting into the gym, starting my workout, leaving is like a big thing to make yourself go and do. And obviously if you go for a run, all you have to do is stick your trainers on and then you've got to get out of the house. And I was having a really stressful, like, or, you know, I'm like Emily too. If you get into a stress, everything goes wrong at the same time. You have a hissy fit about it. And I think my mum had called me about dinner or something like that. And I was just like, I can't talk about it right now because I'm going to just end up being rude. Like I walked in the house and I thought, anyone could say the nicest things to me in the world right now and I'm just going to be angry about it. So
yeah, that was like me on that bike in Gilly.
It was exactly like your bike in Gilly. And I took myself out on this run and I don't even know how far I went. It was one of the only times I've ever like just not tracked it or anything, and I just went. I think it was raining, it was dark, and I just ran and I came back like a new woman. Honestly, I sat down, had a lovely time with my family. And
yeah, I remember you saying this to me.
So much better. And it's amazing how clearly all my brain needed was whatever is released when you're running, because it just like there was nothing else that happened, like nothing good happened on the run, if that makes sense. In fact, I probably didn't actually love it while I was doing it. I was just like, I don't know.
But it is that time to like sit with your thoughts though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it's the only time I think sometimes in our lives, if we're training in the gym or running or yoga or gymnastics, whatever we do, is the only time where you're not looking at your phone, you're not reading, you're not watching TV, you're not talking to anybody else.
They're all distraction methods, aren't they?
Yeah, your brain is just in its own thoughts. Yeah. But you're not just sat in your own thoughts. You're moving your body, you're sweating, you're releasing endorphins, and that exercise is the only time really where you
absolutely
actually do that.
If you really deep it is, and if you really think about it, all you're doing when you're on your phone or you're watching TV, and it's fast releasing dopamine, but it's also a way to like distract yourself from feeling uncomfortable. Yeah. So if you've got something to deal with, like emotion wise, like maybe something happened in the day, you're pushing it back to the back of your brain, which is not healthy. Yeah. But obviously you don't want to deal with it, so you just go on your phone. But whereas like if you go on a run, you force yourself to think about those. You're sitting uncomfortably with your thoughts, but obviously it's better in the long run because you're coming home and you're having a great time. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's all we've got time for today.
Yeah, I don't want to add anything else without just completely.
Yeah, we've literally got 2 minutes until we need to get our asses out of the studio. But
ultimately, exercise is really great for your mind.
It is really good
for friendships and for life.
Just everything in general.
Yeah, but don't put pressure on it.
Yeah,
don't put pressure on it.
We're gonna wrap up today, guys. But we will be back next week with episode 4. It's going so quickly.
We're halfway through already.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
We'll see you soon.